Good morning or good afternoon, everyone, depending on where you are located. My name is Andra Pantalechuk. I'm the Microsoft Partner Community Lead. Today, I want to welcome you to the fourth episode of the Ask Me Anything webinar for service provider on Expand Your Cloud Business with Modern Work and Security. Our speakers for today are Cindy Park, the Business Strategy Manager focused on the Cloud Solution Provider Program Marketing, and Thomas Abel, who manages the partner channels for Microsoft 365 SMB. Just a few reminders, this call is obviously a recorded live event, and we will drop the recording on the Microsoft Partner Community after it concludes. So stay tuned till the end. We will also have a Q&A session at the end of this call, which should take about 30 minutes. And yeah, any questions you have, just drop them in the Q&A box and our moderators will address them, or our speakers will address them during the call. So with that, let's welcome our speakers, and I will hand it over to Cindy first. Thank you.
Thank you, Andra. Good morning and good evening. Thank you so much for joining this session. And as Andra mentioned, that this session is the fourth session of a total 7 series of the Ask Me Anything series webinars for the service providers. We do have a very exciting topic today, really focusing on modern work and security scenarios. And we will go over more details about the opportunities and how you can seize the opportunity to capitalize on it. And next slide, please. We do have special guest speaker that from our business group, Thomas Evel, in the M365 SMB partner team. And he is going to present in this session, and most likely he is bringing the most fresh stories and the scenarios that that can cover partner opportunities and how you can capitalize on it. So so we are really excited to hear more details about the presentation that Thomas will share with you. So with that, and I will hand it over to Thomas. Hi, Thomas, are you ready?
Yeah, thanks, Cindy, for the introduction. Welcome, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. As Cindy mentioned, my name is Thomas Abel. I lead partner channels for Microsoft 365, focused on SMB and the CSP channel. Excited to talk to you all today. What we're going to go through a little bit is how we are seeing the opportunities and the major stories that are relevant to SMBs related to modern work over the course of the next year. So think of this a little bit as a kind of preview and early planning for our fiscal year 22 and the main big beats that we think are important. But before we get into that, I want to talk a little bit about the journey that we've been on over the past 12 months. Over the course of the pandemic, Teams, Microsoft 365, and modern work have been critical in helping customers and businesses continue to be productive as they work remotely, as they navigate the changing environment. And we've learned a number of different things as we've gone through that. The first and most important is really that regardless of where people are, there's a set of timeless needs that people need as they work together. We see that even in a digital world, people are organizing themselves into groups and they need to get things done, whether it be how they connect across their culture, whether they work to find the right people to collaborate with online, whether they're working in a safe way with meetings. And conventionally, we've looked at this as a physical location that our customers will go to in order to work together to get things done. But what we've learned over the past year is that's not always the case. I like to point out that for me, that physical destination was the mothership. It was Redmond campus, where we had 70,000 employees drive to every single morning at Microsoft, which is just about a mile that way from my house. But we've all been able to be incredibly productive without those physical destinations. And the takeaway really is that that organizations will be permanently transformed as a result of the experiences we've all shared over the past year. To put that in perspective and really quantify it, this is what we've seen over the past 12 months. Starting back a year ago, a little over a year ago now, to today, we've seen a 150% increase in meetings. We've seen an incremental 40 billion emails a month delivered. We see chat and document collaboration online dramatically increasing. To put that in perspective, you can see that dip in December and January when many people went on holidays. That dip brought us back to the baseline level of usage that we saw back before the pandemic. So people on a holiday were having meetings as often as they were prior to the pandemic during a regular work week. We believe that this trend in shifting to a more digital world is sustained. It is not going to go back to the way it was as we start getting back to normal. And so as we think about the future of productivity and modern work and Microsoft 365 and the opportunity it presents with businesses to help them digitally transform, we see massive white space that as partners, you have a huge opportunity to go after. This data set and more reports around what we're seeing and the trends in the business are all available online if you go to aka.ms/worklab. It's a really wonderful site with a bunch of different reports and content that you could leverage as you think about how you articulate to customers the kind of digital transformation we're seeing at a global level. When we think about SMBs, of course, there are a set of products that we believe are the right products to serve those needs. I hope that you're all familiar with these products, but if not, let me just quickly walk through them. Microsoft 365 Business Basic is really your entry SKU into the cloud. When we think about customers that are on-prem today and they're looking to try Teams or they're looking to move their server workloads to the cloud, Business Basic is the right starting point for that conversation in order to move like for like from on-prem to cloud. Business Standard is where you start adding in the Office apps. And when we think about the Office apps that are built in the cloud, we think about all the incredible AI-powered functionality that the cloud brings, whether that be things like PowerPoint Designer, whether that be more advanced Power Pivot experiences in Excel, whether that be more rich cloud documents with Word, connected to Teams, of course. And then Business Premium is our premium SKU, as the name implies, where we're adding in advanced security functionality. And when we think about the offering to our customers, we believe that Business Premium is really the best product for our SMBs, providing all of the security functionality that is needed for them. And I hope that over the past year, if you've been following our journey with Business Premium, you've seen the market respond to this SKU in a really positive way. We're now very, very successful with customer uptake of the SKU. We're seeing more and more partners build a business around Business Premium, attaching managed services to increase their profitability. And we're really excited about the future of where this SKU will go. So if all that is context setting, I wanted to spend the remaining 15-20 minutes here talking about what we see as the big beats for FY22. And we really see that there are three major stories that make sense for Microsoft to be telling to our customers, and we think that there's an opportunity for partners to be joining us in telling that story. You can think of these as kind of major themes or approaches to customer conversations, and they serve different needs. The first is pretty straightforward. Why Microsoft 365 Cloud? What we really mean here is thinking about how we are acquiring new customers by moving them from on-prem to the cloud. And from a partner's perspective, moving a customer from a transactional, a perpetual license to a subscription license unlocks new opportunities, whether it be managed services or adoption services, or just the ongoing revenue associated with a subscription. We'll talk more about each of these, but the highlight here I'd say is that we believe Teams is an incredibly compelling feature set to help a customer see the value of digitally transforming into the cloud. The second is around securing your business and enabling hybrid and remote work in a secure and safe fashion. We believe that this is going to be all about the value that we provide with Business Premium, whether it be advanced security functionality or whether it be more remote or hybrid scenarios like Windows Virtual Desktop. This is a great opportunity to think about your existing Microsoft 365 install base and how you can upsell them to a more complete solution that helps serve their needs. And finally, I believe the third major conversation that we have with customers is around advanced unified communication. This is really all about the value that is able to be added on to Microsoft Teams around business voice, around phone system, and calling plans in order to complete the infrastructure solution that customers are looking for telephony. We believe the outcome for you as a partner is really around the two areas of either adding customers to your install base or increasing the revenue that you're generating from your existing customers. Revenue both in the form of incremental license revenue from Microsoft 365 and advanced managed services that you can attach on top of the greater surface area that those products provide. Let's click into each of these and talk a little bit more about what the major themes are and some of the resources that are available today for you to get started. So let's start first with Microsoft 365 Cloud. Really, as I said before, this is all about how we think about moving customers into the cloud. That might mean that it's about moving on-premise customers who are maybe using multiple different solutions into one solution that is enabled by Microsoft's cloud. There's an amazing story here around how we can reduce costs associated with on-premise instances as you move a customer to the cloud. And there's baby steps here as well. One of the things we've seen incredible success with in corporate accounts and enterprises starting a customer on this journey is starting with the simple step of saying, hey, let's get you on Azure Active Directory as the first step into the cloud. And what that does is then it unlocks new experiences like being able to start deploying Teams as incremental value beyond what your server workloads may have provided. As we think about the opportunities here, we know that recent news around server vulnerabilities has really raised the visibility and concern around continuing to operate on-premise products. We also know that in the current economic climate, thinking about refreshing server workloads is a very expensive proposition. And so we think there's a major opportunity as we have these conversations with small and medium businesses to show them the value of moving to the cloud. When we think about what that means from a product perspective, it's really grounded in Teams. We believe that Teams can become the operating system for how people get work done. That message doesn't resonate very well with SMBs who don't think about what is the operating system for their productivity, but the practical aspects of that become very clear when we talk with small businesses. They love how everything is connected inside of one application in one surface for them to see chat, calling, collab on documents, rather than having to use a bunch of different destinations to get that work done. And as we said before, we think that this story is super relevant for on-premise server customers, as well as our current Office perpetual customers, as we look for incremental value that can help them make the shift to cloud workloads. There's two things that I want to call out here as super relevant that you can go get started with today. The first is Cloud Ascent, and the second is Business Workshop Tool. And I'll go into each of these. You should have heard a little bit about Cloud Ascent 2 weeks ago, earlier on in this series of webinars. If you didn't see that webinar, feel free to go back and watch it. I believe they're all available on the channel. But Cloud Ascent is an amazing customer targeting tool that pulls together data across third-party data sets and Microsoft data sets in order to provide targeting information specifically for cloud opportunities. I won't go through exactly how to use it here, but I encourage you all to go look at Cloud Ascent as an opportunity to continue targeting these new customers to acquire into the cloud. The other one that I want to talk about a little bit is what we call the business workshop tool. This is a set of functionality that is available on Transform that enables a partner to work with a customer in a consultative selling conversation. And we really built this to help our partners or new employees inside of partners learn how to have deep conversations with customers that drive towards a deal close. And so what this tool does is it's a guided conversation that you can use to ask the right questions and probe with your customer in order to determine the right product for them and the right deployment guide to really use. Those are the really two unique things that this provides. And so when you complete this with a customer, the output is actually a really high quality product recommendation from Microsoft and jointly with you, along with deployment guides, ROI calculators, and guidance on how to take the next step in making a purchase decision. We found this tool to be incredibly helpful, starting first with as we moved our retail sellers to more digital selling in the direct channel. We actually gave them this tool as a starting point for them to use in their conversations. And we realized that there's actually a lot of value here to expose to broader audiences to use. You can go check it out by going to aka.ms/BW tool. And you can play around with it. You can create a dummy customer if you want and go through it yourself, or you can start using it in your own business. But our hope is that this is another asset that can help you have those conversations with customers as you talk about the cloud. I'd also like to kind of close each of these stories by talking about what it looks like in practice with a customer example. If you've seen any of our advertisements recently about Teams, you've heard a story around Priority Bicycles, which is a bicycle company based in New York. They're actually originally a crowd-funded Kickstarter company back in 2014 around building the perfect bicycle. And they've grown up to become an established SMB. And when the pandemic started for them, they needed to make a shift. And so they had to think about how they were going to move to the cloud in the right ways in order to really take advantage of the opportunity. And they started using Teams along with Microsoft Booking and Dynamics 365 in order to build a new retail experience that they launched in May of last year. In order to allow them to meet with customers virtually and continue to sell as if they were in a retail format. This is a great example of how a partner came in and laid out a vision of what their business could be when they moved to the cloud with Microsoft 365 and help them implement the right solution across Teams and Dynamics 365 in order to continue to allow them to do their work. You can go on YouTube, you can watch the videos about it. If you search for Priority Bicycles, case studies will start popping up, mainly because there's a giant ad campaign around this story because we love it so much. But it's really a great example of what teams can do to change how a business gets work done. The next theme here, which is around securing your business and work from anywhere. This is a course around how we help small businesses be more secure. But when we talk to SMBs, security is often kind of something that they'll be reactive to. And so we often like to try and frame this more as helping small businesses focus on running their business without having to worry about the complexity of security. And as a partner, that's a really important message because there's so many managed services that you can offer around managing the security features and profile of the businesses that you're serving. There is a ton of value in Business Premium. I'm not even going to go through all of it here. If you aren't up to speed on Business Premium, I encourage you to consider how you can